Hey everybody, welcome to episode 3 of Just Hangouts, the official podcast of Just Nerds. Here you can listen to us talk about movies, TV shows, anime, video games, really whatever is of interest in terms of nerd culture. We'll talk about it. You could just hang out, listen to what we want to say, and hopefully you have a good time. And as always, this is my co-host Blake.
Hello everybody, how we doing today?
How's it going, Blake?
It's going pretty well. Like I was saying the last time before our podcast got interrupted, I've just been chilling, just enjoying a nice, cool house, air conditioned, and a little bit of the heat outside. But that's it. Just been enjoying summer as much as I can. So, how about you, man? How you been?
Dang, that sounds good. About the same. College ended for me a few weeks ago, and so I will be applying to jobs probably around August. And so right now I'm just trying to really take in all the free time I can get, which is just a lot of on the couch, playing games, watching TV. I could be more productive, but that's for later,
No, I get you.
Yeah, with intros out of the way, Blake, what have you been watching / playing?
So, like I said, I have been I've been watching a lot of old, kind of the old Marvel movies. Not old, but going from Phase 1 all the way to as far as I can get now with what I own. So I went back and I watched all of Phase 1. I've gone from the first Iron Man, which came out in 2008, to Thor: The Dark World. I just ended Thor: The Dark World. So I think the next film for me is Winter Soldier, it's Guardians. Guardians and then Winter Soldier, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm excited to kind of go back to Guardians 1 and view it a little differently. Or maybe, we'll see. I still love that movie, so I don't think I'm going to find anything to hate. I think I might find something more to appreciate, but we'll see. But it's been an interesting ride, just been pretty interesting to go back and take a look at those older Marvel movies and, see like how much has changed, not just visually, but like just in everything. As for playing, mostly been playing. What have I been playing? I've been playing a lot of Smash Brothers mostly. Of course. I mean, what else? I also decided to, for like the 5th time now, go back to Pokemon Leaf Green, just for the sake of just going back and playing it again. And man, that game's a lot of fun. The game's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a very good Pokemon game.
Yes, and it actually has all the Pokemon in it, believe it or not.
Ooh.
But also, I also finished Alpha. I finally finished Alpha. The final boss whooped my butt, but once I figured it out, oh my gosh, I was so happy. It's great. But that's kind of it. Now I'm done with hard games for a little while. I just want to play something a little casual. That's why I'm playing Pokemon. I'm actually really far. I actually just beat Sabrina, so I think I'm on the 8th gym now. Yeah, I'm on the 8th gym now. So that's Blaine. I'm excited to go back and fight him. I don't have any water. I only have one water Pokemon, and it's Seadra. So we'll see if I can take him out. But right now I'm just picking a new game for my Switch. It's gonna be Kirby, I think, Star Allies, because I don't want to play a hard game. I want an easy game. I'm done with hard games for a little while. It took me forever to beat Alpha, even though that game's supposed to only take 2 hours. It did not take me 2 hours. It took me at least 5 or 6.
No, that's great.
Yeah,
that's awesome, though.
Yeah, but that's pretty much it for me, man. What about you? What you been watching, playing?
Let's see, watching. Not actually. I started watching Psych again.
Okay.
That is, in terms of like comedies, that's my favorite show. Gotta be honest. I would say like top 3 shows. You know what I mean? It's so good. The witty banter, I love it so much. This is I'm on season 4 right now. I think I started a week or 2 ago. I think it was last week, to be honest. The seasons aren't like that long.
Yeah.
But I'm on season 4, and this will be the 3rd time I'm going completely through it. So good, such a good show. But I gotta watch Voltron season 3. Psych got in the way of that, but we'll get to it. We'll get to it. In terms of playing, not much. I guess first is Final Fantasy VII. Still going through that. I am about 16 hours in, so I think I'm about halfway through the game.
Ooh, very nice, very nice.
As I've said the past 2 weeks, great game. My like main party that I do is Cloud, Tifa, and Red 13. That
Okay.
is my squad. Just yeah, I'm starting to figure out more about materia, like 16 hours in.
Yeah,
All the
no, it's
more
difficult.
more of the hidden stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh yeah, very in depth with that. Uh it's really interesting, I guess, when compared to playing like Final Fantasy 15,
Yeah.
because everybody says the first half of that game is very open world, then the second is more linear.
Yeah.
And while that's true, the way 15 guides you to the main story, it's still relatively linear.
Mm-hmm.
Like all this like main cities, you typically have a main story mission, and like the way that you go down the road and like the characters tell you where to go, they're always leading you down the next main mission, and you could do all the side quests and all that. But I guess I didn't realize that until I played Final Fantasy 7, because there's so many side missions that feel like it should be part of the main story, which is mainly about your team.
Yeah.
And getting to know them and all their side missions. I guess it was weird, like learning more about this character and realizing, wait, I didn't even have to go to the city, like at all. And I could have completely missed their story entirely.
Yeah.
And I think that's really interesting that I haven't experienced with these older Final Fantasy games. But which is really cool though. I like it. It reminds me of kind of like Mass Effect, where I guess you have to do that, but also Mass Effect also guides you.
Yeah.
And tells you to do those missions. But this does not do it at all, which is interesting. Different but cool.
Yeah, it's kind of the classical way of doing things, where side missions just really, they're not essential anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the game doesn't really 100% push you to go do them. It's just kind of, if you stumble on this, you get to go do that. So,
yeah, exactly. You stumble on it and go, oh shoot, okay, guess I'm doing this little story thread right now.
Yeah, guess I'll take a break from doing the main stuff and I'll do this. So let's do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's good stuff. It's all good stuff.
Yeah, so that's been interesting. And the other game has been Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I've not replaying it, but I'm doing all the post-game content. I beat the game, I think, about a year ago, year and a half. And, that's one of my favorite games of all time, probably. But I started playing some of the side missions, because after beating it, I had to play more. You have a great game when you have that feeling that you just want to do everything you can that it has to offer. But then I stumbled upon, I think, 1 or 2 side missions where I literally could not figure out how to find the side mission or how to get where I needed to go. I see the icon, but I have no idea how to get there. And I tried for like an hour or 2 to figure it out, and I got so upset that I stopped. And then I got distracted by other games. But I'm finally going back, and this game is so good. Just the combat, the world. I forgot how much it doesn't run as great as it should.
Yeah, well, it's a huge, massive RPG with 3D models, and it's on the Switch, of course, too. So I imagine it's probably it gets locked on 30. Does it go into 60, or is it just hard locked on 30?
It's probably 30.
Okay.
I think. I'm not too great at looking at that, but when I finally started up the game, and then it had had to load in the textures for a room, I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
I forgot about this. And then on handheld, it doesn't look really that great, but it still plays well, which is really all I care about.
Yeah.
But yeah, great game. I can't wait to go through all the side stuff that I haven't done yet, and all the DLC, because I got the expansion pass a while ago, just haven't done it yet.
Oh, so have you done Torna, or?
I have not done Torna yet.
Okay. I don't know how you're able to juggle 2 RPGs, 2 massive RPGs, and despite all the other stuff you're doing. That's great. I can barely handle 1 Pokemon game. I don't know how you do it.
Great. It's great. It's a great time.
I'm glad. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm glad someone out there can enjoy those kinds of games with that
I
Just
mean, I
that
guess
rapid.
technically 3 RPGs, Blake.
Oh
Because
yeah.
Torna's like a whole game in itself.
That's true. That they sold it by itself, right?
Yeah.
Which is weird. You don't even do you need Xenoblade Chronicles a copy of the game to do it?
No, so if you have the game, you can buy the expansion pass. I forget how much that is. I think 30 or 40 maybe. I can't remember. But if you have Xenoblade, that's how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
But you can buy Torna physically on its own.
Yeah.
And it has like a cartridge on its own, and you don't need Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
That's crazy.
At all. Yeah, that's really weird.
That is really weird.
But I think, if I remember, it comes with the expansion pass if you buy the game physically. Like
Dang,
a digital
okay.
download code. Okay,
Okay.
yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah. But yeah, I love that game so much. Can't wait. Yeah, like you said, technically 3 RPGs I'm tackling right now.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. I don't know how you can do that stuff.
I don't need any more games right now.
No, I assume not. I assume not. But I mean, shoot, I'm glad you're enjoying all of them, so that's great.
Yeah. I guess this could technically count as watching. Not really, but it's not really a topic. Last week, as of this recording, Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0, such a weird title.
Yeah.
They showed the sneak peek for it, I think,
Okay.
at Anime Expo, or maybe a little before that,
Mm-hmm.
like a day or two before. And it was 10 minutes of the beginning. It was really just a big action scene, and I really don't know what to say about it, because it was not English subbed. There's just raw or in Italian subtitles.
Oh.
Or French subtitles. I can't remember. I think it's French. But it was just a big action scene where one of the pilots fights a bunch of angels, robots, not too sure. I think they were robots. And it takes place in France, that fight. And she just picks up the Eiffel Tower and just destroys an angel or a robot. I can't remember.
This sounds pretty cool.
It was pretty ridiculous. The CG is crazy. Ano, ever since the second movie, I want to say, he's been really like pushing the CG and kind of showing it off, really.
Yeah.
Kind of how far and how great the studio has come
Mm-hmm.
in terms of being able to make the CG look really good. And some people don't like how much he shows off. I think there was like a 3-minute scene where it's like a ship taking off and just showing how it looked in 3D. It looked amazing, and I didn't mind it, but everybody didn't like that.
No, well, I feel like it's probably a lot of people just want to get with the story.
Yeah, but it seems like he's kind of showing off again here, which I don't really mind, because it does look cool, I gotta admit.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Movie's coming out, I think, either late, like end of this year or early next year. Can't remember, but that would be cool. Maybe I can see it like not 3 years after it comes out. That'd be awesome.
That
Or
would
like
be better.
5 years, I think. Can't
Yeah.
remember. Oof. But yeah, that's really all I've been watching / playing. But we have some things we want to talk about in terms of movies. But before that, I just want to mention one story that we briefly talked about off of the podcast,
Yes.
where our good friend Miyamoto had some opinions on the online services. So this is from the IGN article. This was during a Q&A session during their meeting of shareholders. Nintendo was like asked about how it feels like they've been a little slow in terms of joining global trends such as cloud computing, mobile, and VR. And this was his statement, to quote Miyamoto: "We have not fallen behind with either VR or network services. We worked on them from the very beginning and have been experimenting with them in a variety of ways. In that time, we have objectively evaluated whether they actually allow our consumers to have an enjoyable play experience, and whether we can operate them at an appropriate cost. Because we don't publicize this until we release a product, it may look like we're falling behind." So,
Oh
yeah.
boy. Well, okay, so Super Mario Maker 2 just came out, and from what I've seen, the online is trash.
Really?
Oh well, this is what I've seen. Like from what
I haven't looked at it at all.
I've seen a few things, and it's rough. Like I hear it runs at like 3 frames per second. It's jittery.
I've seen the co-op. For
yeah,
that.
it's jittery.
Oof.
It's no the game like Mario Maker 2. Playing a level is fine. It works just as good. I'm talking about when you play online multiplayer, like the co-op and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I hear that is rough. Like I hear that's super rough. Smash, when it first came out, you know, like I remember hearing so many complaints about people not getting their preferred rules, people not getting 1v1s, people getting Smash fights. I mean, shoot, it still happens, you know, like you still meet up somebody who wants for some reason to play with items or Smash meter on or whatever, you know, you just want to play a simple 1v1 on Battlefield or Final Destination, and then you find that one guy who really likes the Smash ball. And I mean, no, go ahead.
No, sorry. No, I was saying I remember when the game came out, and strangely, like sounds weird to say, but it almost kind of killed the hype for Smash at the time because like, oh shoot, all these new characters, this game looks amazing, it plays great, but then everybody obviously wants to go online and play with their friends or versus just other people, and to some degree, they just literally couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Either through performance or, like you said, they weren't matchmaking with the matches that they wanted. Yeah.
And even then, this is more a criticism of Smash Ultimate to a degree, where it's like, and that still affects your GSP. If you lose in a free-for-all timed battle with all items, that still drops your GSP on a character, which is like, and GSP is a dumb system, but that's a criticism of Smash Ultimate. To get to Nintendo's online thing, I mean, they just didn't really add anything. Like, I've told you for a long time that, like, I think PlayStation Plus, while I will say that I don't like the idea of paying for online at all, I think that there's a level of, like, yeah, I think it's worth it to some degree. At least for me.
And because, plus they... Oh, no, sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
No, well, I think we're going to say the same thing, though, where it's like, you know, they have like the deals on games, and they give you a free game a free game every month. Freaking Sonic Mania, and I think the Borderlands Handsome Jack collection was free last month. And
exclusive sales for if you're with Plus.
Yes. I mean, shoot, they're like PS and the online works pretty good. I have very few times felt a game have some like genuine lag, like when I was playing Dragon Ball. Like, Dragon Ball didn't really have a ton of lag. Like, there were some matches that were just unbearably laggy, but a lot of them, I would say at least like 9 times out of 10, I was getting pretty solid matches with maybe like at most 3-2. And that's good. That's good for a fighting game. That's important for a fighting game, of course. But Nintendo does, like, the only thing we have that is exclusive now is Tetris 99 and that stupid NES thing that I don't even care about.
Well, because they've been, like, technically, not really, but they've been selling us those games since the Wii.
Yeah, no, and that's what I mean, though. Like, they sold these games, like, 5 times. Once on the Wii, second on the Wii U, then on the 3DS, and now, and then the NES Classic. And now they're not even giving you the games you really want. They're just giving you, like, what, this game is good enough. Here you go. You play this game for a while.
I mean, at this point, people are tired of playing the same old games over and over. Like, that's not really a benefit at this point because we've seen it so often in every console they've done so far.
Yeah.
Or the recent ones.
Yeah, no, 100%. And it's so confusing because it's like, you know, Tetris 99 was a kind of a big deal, I think. Like, it was you could only have this if you have online. You can only play this if you have online because that's how the game works, which is cool. That's great. And then I remember a lot of people being like, if they can do more of this, like, I think they'll make Nintendo Online a lot more worth it. They haven't done anything since then. Like, they haven't given us any sort of game. Like not even a little, I don't know, like, I guess I just kind of wanted something a bit more, you know? Like, of course, but, like, it's just nothing. Like it's just Tetris 99, and even now you can buy the game for I think $10, which is kind of ridiculous. And all you get with that purchase is a endless mode or survival mode, and then a practice mode where you can't play local play. You can only play against CPU 99 opponents, which is pointless. It's just play online. It's the same thing. The only difference is that everybody's trying to screw you over in those modes, but that's how it is in real life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like if they made another game, another two, like a little Mario game, a little Pokemon, like something, but no, they didn't do anything. And this is how it is now. It's weird, you know? Like playing online's great, but like ever since they added this, I just don't think it's gotten any better, you know?
Well, it's the fact that first, it's such a bare bones online experience.
Yeah.
It's even more bare bones than I would say Xbox Live and PlayStation Plus, last gen on Xbox 360 and PS3. And then on top of that, that was, I guess, before it cost money.
Yeah.
That was when it was free, and it was still super bare bones, and we were going, okay, it's free.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And then, what was it, like a year and a half, 2 years? I think a year and a half after the Switch released, then they were like, well, you gotta pay online. Okay, well, is there any benefit to it? Like, increase in servers to make the online better? Or, new, what do you call it, features?
Mm-hmm.
No, not really. Oh.
Here's a what is it? Here's a cloud saving thing that doesn't work for every game.
Here's for Pokemon, Animal Crossing, Splatoon, for the games you would want to do cloud saves for.
Yeah, don't remind me about Pokemon. Oh God.
Good Lord. We won't go.
Oh no, I'm not gonna talk about it. But like that's dumb. But anyways,
but yeah, it's bare bones.
Yeah.
And it's the fact that people are still complaining about how the Mario Kart playing online is, how Smash playing online is.
Yeah.
Mario Maker. Yeah. It's bare bones, and it doesn't even operate as good as what we got years ago.
Yeah, no, it's again. I think they have definitely fallen behind. Number one, let me state this. I love Shigeru Miyamoto.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Miyamoto's a wonderful, wonderful guy. He's super smart in like how to design a game. But when it comes down to like the business side of things, I definitely think the guy falters a lot. Like when it comes to him, like he's really good at developing an idea for like Mario and occasionally having a little drop of wisdom for every other Nintendo game here and there. But that's kind of it. Like when he starts branching out into other areas of the industry is when he really starts to say some things that are just baffling. Like, what did he say? I remember there was a huge controversy around Sticker Star, Paper Mario, where I believe he said something like, he said this to one of the developers, like, he said something like, Mario doesn't really need to have a story for it to be good. Nobody cares about a story. And so they were like, oh, well, that's a great idea. So let's just not have a story for Paper Mario. And everybody hates Sticker Star. Everybody hates it because it's no story, and then there's no like real. Then the gameplay has a lot of issues as well, of course. So it didn't help at all. But like, that's like I've heard a lot of stories about him just being kind of a detriment. A long, long time ago, I want to say like early last year, Game Explain on their podcast had a question from a viewer, I think, about like, is Miyamoto a detriment to Nintendo? And like, should he just retire? And I don't remember what their answers were, so I'm not going to try to say, but like, it was kind of surprising on the amount of stories I heard about him just kind of being like, I don't know, just kind of his ideals are to some degree outdated maybe, or something like that.
Yeah, so. It's just another case of where not just Miyamoto, but just a lot of the people running Nintendo, they're, older guys, and they're not, in the current times. Like you said, they're behind.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times what you do is you hire younger people that can, tell you what people want, or, that can look at the current trends.
Mm-hmm.
But with the people heading Nintendo, they just don't know, what people want
No,
or
well,
what they need, I guess.
yeah, and it's funny because when it comes to the games, they get it like perfectly, like a lot of the times, like Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, and so on and so forth. But like, man, it's just
But
funny that
in
like
terms of services, they don't know.
exactly, and like that's so bizarre to me. Like, how do you not just look at PlayStation, which is like, I would say pretty much like the standard, I think, and like, and I forget, is PlayStation Plus, I believe, $60 a year?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like that's the price of a game, and it gives you an avenue to buy more games, and also an avenue to play the games online with different features and whatnot and so forth. And it's great. Like, it's just simple. Like, I would say that Sony's is pretty simple, but Nintendo's is just like lacking. Like, it's $20 a year, which is a good price, but like the things you get are you get to play online, and like that's
we were literally not paying for it like a year ago.
Yeah.
Or not a few months ago.
And now we're paying for it, and we didn't really get anything extra for it. So.
No, not at all.
No, so.
Yeah, well, this is just another case where Nintendo,
Yeah.
it's behind the times. Because except for the hardcore Nintendo diehards,
yeah,
no one is really arguing that they're not behind the times, because they are. And Nintendo has to figure that out at some point.
Yeah. No, I hope they do, because
they're killing it on the games front.
Yeah. And the hardware sales. I mean, the Switch is sold like hotcakes and beyond. So I mean, it's just funny that this is still going on. Like, that's been what, 2 years now since they've dropped this.
Yeah.
And it's still in this kind of fractured state. So I mean, we'll see. We will see. But
yeah, maybe the Switch Pro.
Oh God, yeah. Maybe they'll. Yes. And E3's come and gone, so they didn't drop anything necessarily special for this. Who knows? Maybe after, I don't know. I mean, the Switch is about, what has it been? Switch is in about 4 years of its life cycle. It was 2014, correct? 2015? I cannot remember.
Wasn't 2 years ago?
Is the Switch only 2 years old?
I think so.
I think it's a little older, right? Because online, we just started paying for that, didn't we? Hold on, let me check.
No, you're right. I'm probably wrong.
No, you know what? It's 2017. You're right, because Breath of the Wild came out in 2017. You're right. I'm sorry. I keep thinking 2018 and whatever. I keep mixing up years, but you're right.
Yeah, it's been 2 years.
Yeah. Okay. So it's still relatively young into its lifespan. But it's getting to that halfway point where, like, I would say 3 years is like when a console really like has to start waking back up. You know what I mean? You have a strong start, and you're starting to kind of get there. So I think at the 3-year point, if they don't fix it, I think it's pretty much like, okay, well, that was a waste. Goodbye. Thing like that kind of thing. So, but we'll see. Hopefully,
we'll see what Nintendo does.
Yeah.
But I think they might always be behind. But that's another topic. Another talk.
I hope not, but I'm with you. I kind of think you're right. So.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's it for podcast topics. But for this episode, we mainly want to talk about 2 movies in particular that we both watched. So I think we should probably start with Toy Story 4.
Yes.
Because I think the next one will get a lot of discussion out of.
Yeah. So last time on the podcast, if I remember correctly, you said that Toy Story 4 was good, but it did lack like a kind of sense of heart. Kind of that impact. Kind of thing. Yeah. I honestly can say I 100% agree. Like, it is good. It's a very good movie. And first off, before we jump into anything, spoilers ahead. So if you haven't seen,
I'm glad at the very least we agree on that. I wasn't too sure where that was going.
But just so everybody knows, spoilers ahead, of course. I mean, we're talking about movies. We want to spoil things. So just if you haven't seen it, maybe skip or turn it on. I don't know, whatever. But so like the ending, with Woody and Buzz saying goodbye, like, it's funny because I was like, I like this. Like, it's a good movie. I really like this movie. But I gotta say, like, it's like I would have been more emotionally drawn in towards it had it not been Toy Story. Maybe. Because, like, I just think the fact that it is Toy Story and this story's over, is like that. Like that kept constantly ringing in my mind. Like this Toy Story's done. Like whatever happens after this is just not. Just doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
at least how I feel. You know. I also, if I can say my thoughts, I feel a little underwhelmed because everybody, all the supporting characters like Ham, Mr. Potato Head, Jesse, they don't participate in this movie whatsoever. They don't do anything. They do maybe like 2 things to stall, but that's it. They don't.
Especially Buzz.
Oh my god, yeah, no, for real.
Like really, the relationship between Woody and Buzz has been a staple of this franchise.
That's the core of the franchise. Yeah. Like that's essential. You know, and that's why Toy Story 3, when Woody leaves Buzz at the daycare and they have that disagreement, it hits so hard in this, and Buzz is, I don't know, to me, Buzz is freaking weird in this movie. Like, they
dumbed him down a lot.
They did. They
brought him back to Toy Story 1, Buzz.
Yeah, and I was like, why? He's not an idiot. Like, the little voice thing, like, that was dumb. I was like, oh gosh, come on. Guys, he's not an idiot. He's a lot smarter now. Like,
nope, not anymore.
Nope, not anymore. It feels weird. That's what I meant, where it's kind of like, I feel like the story would have worked had it not been the Toy Story characters, you know?
Okay, yeah, I feel that.
Because, what they're trying to tell is a story about, like, kind of, I don't know what it is with what is it? I don't know what it is with Pixar and this message of like, when you're done kind of thing. Because Cars 3 had a fairly similar thing where it's like, you just have to accept that you're done. You know what I mean? Because like Woody's kind of, or Bonnie's kind of done with Woody, with playing with Woody, right?
Which I just want to say really lessens the impact of the end of Toy Story 3, right?
Yeah. No, it really, again, I was
like, really? After that whole thing where Annie could have taken Woody, and he goes, you know what? You need Woody. He'll always be there for you. And she goes, and then she goes, after like 2 weeks, like, well, I'm done playing with Woody. Wow, cool, thanks, awesome.
Though. But like that's 100% true. That. Like that's so true because like it's like, oh, he'll always be there for you. Well, Bonnie's not always gonna be there for him, and it's like, oh damn, like shoot. But like. I just, again, like, that's the thing, though, is, like, Pixar loves this message. I don't know what it is with them in this message, but they really like it, of, like, owning when your time is up. I feel like they're trying to send us a message. I don't know what it is, but that maybe they are. I'm not sure. But, because, like, Cars 3, like I said, had a very similar thing, you know, where it's like, oh, he's done, he's too old, he can't race in these races anymore. He's going to be a coach now. And it's kind of like Woody has that same sort of ending where it's all like, oh, he's not really going to be played with that much anymore. It's all about freeing other toys. Okay. That's fine, I guess. But like, why did you do this with Toy Story? You know, like Toy Story is done. Like I like we discussed last time, like I even said, I think I've never met someone who's all like, I'm so excited for Toy Story 4. Everyone I've talked to has been like, why are they making this? Nobody wants this. You know what I mean? Like, even when it got announced, I remember the poster came out, and people were like, what? Toy Story 4? Why? Like, people were, like, hyped for Incredibles 2. They were like, oh, okay, Cars 3, and then they saw Toy Story 4, and they're like, what? Toy Story 4? The heck? So, I think the theme of it, like, the message is fine. I think it's great. Just don't do it with Toy Story. Like, this Toy Story movie is so weak compared to the other 3.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, nobody participates. Like, nope. Like, so just a side note to kind of go on that. I was like, well, Don Rickles died, so we don't have a Mr. Potato Head, you know, or we're not going to have much of Mr. Potato Head or something like that. I was like, so who are they going to get to replace him? I'm curious how they handle him. They handle him by not having him in the movie at all. Like, he was in the movie and I think he had like 2 lines. And that's weird. Like, Mr. Potato Head's always been like a really big part of the movies, you know? So it's, I don't know. I found that weird. I got it. I understood why. But, I don't know. I feel underwhelmed, I guess, is how I kind of feel about that movie.
Yeah.
But I mean, do you have any other thoughts to add? I mean, I know I've been taking it up because
No, you're good. I mean, I mostly said my main thoughts last week.
yeah,
But I guess now that I can say it, um, I appreciate the themes of like purpose and
yes,
identity and what happens when that kind of chapter of your life is closed.
mm-hmm.
And where do you go from there? Like you said, Pixar's kind of had this weird theme of when you're done, you're done. Like when your time is done.
Yeah,
But what and obviously the animation is spectacular in this movie, and I don't mind the new characters that they added.
no, actually, I don't.
They're
Yeah,
pretty good. Yeah, but what I don't like was how they kind of handled Woody's character in this movie.
yeah,
This might be a small thing. This might be just me, but in the beginning of the movie, I didn't like the way I think they could have done it a bit differently. How they portrayed Woody not being able to go with Bo Peep, because the way I took it was like he puts his hands on the box, right?
yeah,
And he's about to go with her, and then Andy comes out of the house and it's like, "Where's Woody? I can't find Woody." The look that Woody has on his face, from what I took, was like, "Oh shoot! Like I can't go. Like he wants to go with her, but
yeah.
he can't. Like somewhere deep in his body, he just can't do it."
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were gonna go with like deep down he loves Annie more than Bo Peep,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's what's gonna keep him. But what I got was like deep down he really did want to go, and if I guess he had more of a choice, he would have.
Yeah.
But when Andy runs out and he's like, "Oh dang it, like dang, I want to go with you, but I can't. I have to stay with Andy."
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of feeling I got from that moment.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that because Toy Story 3, his biggest characteristic is he's loyal and he'll do anything for Andy.
Yeah. It's loyalty, and they bring that up in Toy Story 4 too. They even mention something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think maybe it's just the way I read that scene, but I didn't like that. But the thing I actively disliked was the way the thing with Bo Peep and him leaving with her at the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
In concept, I don't mind it, but it also goes against the theme of Toy Story 3.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing of Toy Story 3 is Woody cannot let go of Andy. And he's like, "I always have to be there for Andy, like no matter what." And everybody's saying, like, even though he didn't try to give them away,
yeah,
you have to let go because Annie doesn't really need us anymore.
Yeah.
And Woody, it's really a story of letting go.
Yeah.
Because Woody understands, yeah, I have to let go of Andy. And deep down, I will always be there for Andy, even if I'm not with him,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
But what Woody comes to understand is that what was really important wasn't necessarily Andy, even though he is important. What was important is that he was always there with everybody else, Being with Andy also formed this family that he made.
Yeah.
Like with Buzz, with Ham, with Jesse. And when he looks at the picture, he looks from Andy to the toys and realizes this is his family. That's who he has to stay with.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yes.
That's his family. He has to stick with them. He has to leave Andy, but he'll always be with his family no matter what.
Yes.
But in Toy Story 4, he just leaves.
Yeah, no, exactly. Shoot.
I love that moment so much in Toy Story 3. It's such a good, it's such a character growth for Woody when he realizes that.
It's the finale. It's
exactly. It's like beautiful. Andy is important, but Toy Story 1, 2, and 3 really wasn't about Andy. It was about the family that he made with the toys.
Yeah.
It was about everybody else.
Yeah.
Toy Story 4 at the end, I love you guys, but see ya.
Yeah. And that's what I mean when I say that's what I think I mean, or not what I think I mean. That's what I really mean when I say like this should not have been a Toy Story movie. Is like the idea of like letting go of family is something nice, but it goes against everything that Toy Story has stood for the past, since 1992, 1993, 1992.
Like 20 years?
No, exactly. Like it's just that's what I mean. Like, had this been an original Pixar movie that had different characters and a different setting and different plot, different casting, just a different everything, a normal Pixar affair, you know, like a Coco or something of that nature, you know, back when Pixar used to do original stuff. But putting this in the Toy Story universe just doesn't hit. Like, it doesn't land. It just makes people confused because it's like, but that doesn't make any sense. Like, him saying goodbye to all these people, and all these people didn't even know he was making these decisions. Like, they didn't influence his decisions, you know? Whereas in Toy Story 3, everybody is going against him. You know what I mean? At the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, no, we need to be there for Andy. He put you guys in the attic. And they're like, no, he left us in the trash, and we need to move on. It's over. Like, and that's the thing. That's the big conflict, is everybody stands against Woody, even Buzz. But in this movie, everyone's just like, oh, where's Woody? I hope he comes back. Really hope he comes back. Oh, man. Oh, Buzz jumped out oh, no, Buzz. Oh. Man, I hope Buzz comes back, too. Like, do you know what I mean? You know, like, they don't... Yeah. And then, can I just say... I don't think I liked how malicious the toys were against Bonnie's dad and mom. Like they freaking pop his tire. They mess with the, like, I thought it was funny, but I was like, yo, they're like they're actually being malicious here. Like that. Oh my God. Like I don't know. I just thought it was like crazy.
What'd you think of the comedy in this movie?
It was funny. Like, Pixar's never been not funny as far as I mean, Brave didn't have a lot of comedy. But that's because Brave was a kind of a different movie. But, I mean, it was funny. I laughed at a lot of stuff. But, like, that was what I meant. Was I just feel like there's always going to be that looming feeling of, like, it's Toy Story. And this just doesn't...
It's more of a, fun adventure movie this time. Rather than a weighty Toy Story movie.
Which is what Toy Story's always been. Toy Story's always been able to combine that adventure with that growth. You know what I mean? And beautifully too. All three movies are great at that. Toy Story 4, I think, just doesn't combine them. It's just like, here's some exciting adventure set pieces in an antique store and then at a carnival, and it's great. But then here's, like, the emotional stuff that doesn't connect at all whatsoever.
Yeah, so, well, I feel like it's a perfectly enjoyable movie.
Yeah.
In terms of the emotional impact, and especially I think it goes against a lot of the finale of Toy Story 3.
Yes.
And I don't know. I feel conflicted about it. I enjoyed it, but I don't know. I didn't love it.
Yeah, no, that's how I feel lately. And this is kind of depressing. I feel lately about that with a lot of Pixar movies, you know? Or to specifically their sequels. Because Coco was great. Coco I loved. But, like,
so good.
Incredibles 2, I watched it the first time and I remember being like, oh, this is great. And then I watched it a second time. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
And then and then Cars 3 I watched and I was like, oh. And then, like, that's kind of how I've been ever since they started doing, I want to say ever since Monsters University. Because I like Monsters University. But I didn't really want anything else for Monsters Inc. Because, like, I don't want a sequel. But the prequel's okay. But, like, it's just a college movie. Kind of how we discussed, I think, last time. Or just I don't even know if we talked about that on the podcast.
No, I think that was off the podcast.
Yeah, that was off the podcast.
Yeah, but, like, it's a fun movie, but it's just a college movie that's animated.
Yeah.
With monsters.
Yeah, and you know what's funny, though, is that movie has a similar theme to Cars 3 and Toy Story 4, where it's kind of, what's the word?
Oh, shoot. You're kind of right.
Well, because, like, Mike Wazowski wants to be a scarer. And
I didn't think about that.
He just can't because he's not scary. He literally, like, quote unquote, just can't. And it's like, and then he has to kind of just deal with that, which, again, great theme, but, like, why? Okay, so to kind of conclude these thoughts, is Pixar trying to say that, like, we're done, like, we don't want to do that? Like, are they subtly trying to tell us that we're done, like Pixar's done? Like,
I guess so.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, but I'm genuinely thinking that. Like, I'm genuinely believing this because I'm looking at these movies. I'm like, they're all like really kind of cynical to some degree, and it's like, and by the way, these sequels did not happen until Disney bought them, and then Disney started making all the cool original stuff, and then they made, like, Finding Dory, and then they made all these great sequels. All these all these sequels to all your favorite movies. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's like, is Pixar trying to tell us that, like, yeah, we're done? Time's up.
Good.
I don't know. Like,
No,
that's a theory.
no, it's funny.
I don't know
It's
if
funny.
that's true. I kind of doubt it, but like they've been running this theme in hard, and like Coco was kind of about loss and letting go, and then their next movie
Coco's so good.
Coco is great though, but like their next movie's called Onward, and I'm like,
Yeah,
are you
I'm
guys
wondering
done?
how-
Like,
yeah.
what are you doing? What's going on here? Like, so I don't know. I mean, shoot, who knows? But it's just a little theory, and maybe we'll talk about that in depth more. But who knows? We'll see. I actually kind of want to go back and watch the post Disney buyout movies and see if they all have that theme,
Oh my
because
god.
Incredibles 2 doesn't really have that, because Incredibles 2 is a lot more political.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see. That'd be cool. That'd be so freaking weird though. But anyways, yeah, that's it. Toy Story 4 was fine. I think just fine.
It was fine.
And that's kind of sad to say about a Toy Story movie. So, but
Yeah. But I think what was not fine, actually, was a little movie that we saw together, actually, Blake.
yes, it's been a long time, but we finally actually went to the theater together and saw the movie.
We saw Spider-Man Far From Home.
Otherwise known as Spider-Man Far From Good. Oh shoot.
Dang, I had something similar to say.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say Was I gonna say Far From Good? I think I was gonna say that. No, I was gonna say at that exact point.
Oh man. Well, I mean, it's kind of setting itself up for that. I don't know. I like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, well, before we get into the actual movie, I want us to go into like our mindset before the movie.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So
Why
I
don't
guess
you start.
I guess I'll go first.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you guys don't know, Blake knows, Spider-Man is my favorite superhero character ever.
This is true.
I love him to death. I love almost everything that's come out in terms of like media. Sam Raimi movies, I love them, but they are dated and they are not my Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, I love Spectacular Spider-Man, fantastic. I love the '90s show. I love the Andrew Garfield movies.
Ooh.
I love Homecoming.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Spider-Man, most of the Spider-Man games. Just Spider-Man's such a great character that everybody loves because he's such a universal character that everybody can relate to.
Yes.
And like I said, I love Homecoming.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's necessarily my favorite, but before like Spider-Verse came out, I thought, okay, this probably like objectively is kind of a weird word, but maybe objectively the best Spider-Man movie. It seems like the one everybody likes.
Yeah.
That like I think I still like the Andrew Garfield ones better, but everybody hates those movies. Nobody talks about them, which hurts. But whatever. People loved Homecoming, and that's cool.
Yes.
But which is weird that lately people have been saying it's not good, which
I don't get that at all. But
and Spider-Man 3 is really good. Make up your minds, people. But I was going into Far From Home like, okay, I'm super excited. I loved Homecoming.
Yeah.
I obviously can't wait for the sequel. He was great in Infinity War and Endgame while he was in there. I can't wait for this movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was the mindset I went into. I was like, I can't wait for this movie.
Yeah, no, I remember you being pretty excited.
It's gonna be great. Probably, I think I was like, this might be better than the first one because Jake Gyllenhaal looks great. Mysterio, they made him work. It looks like, he's got a new suit which I don't love, but still looks cool. But Blake, what was your mindset going into this film?
I want to start by giving a formal apology to Spider-Man Homecoming. Because when I first saw the movie in theaters, I remember coming out and being like, "That was whatever." But I know. I don't know. I know.
I called you crazy.
I know. And I have to stress, I have no idea what I was smoking when I saw that movie. I wasn't actually smoking. That's a joke. But like, I have absolutely no clue what I was thinking when I saw that or how I was feeling. But like, I remember walking out and being like, "Oh, that was whatever." And then I watched it again, not too long after I went to go see it. I'm like, it's just okay. I watched it recently after we watched Far From Home, because I was like, I need to see Homecoming again. And god dang, that movie's good. Like, I am so sorry for any like hurtful things I've said about that movie. That movie's good. It's a very good movie. It's so it actually, I used to say that like well, there's just nothing special about it. I take that back. There's a lot special about it. It's trying to capture a very different Spider-Man than the one we've seen in cinema prior. Because, like, you have Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3 by Sam Raimi that are, like, super comic booky, like, Peter Parker just slips on banana peels, and, like, it's that's just how the movie's structured. Like, he's just a loser.
That does happen.
No, I know, but that's what I mean. God. Like, he's a freaking loser. And, like, so you feel good when Spider-Man, like, you know, it's a fun, they're fun. They're super fun. Mm-hmm. Andrew Garfield, I think, is a lot more grounded. It's kind of like, it's a lot more like Spider-Man in sort of a rural setting, kind of like very deep, very, I don't want to say dark, because it's not dark, but it's like, it's more like grounded. It's just more,
like you said, more grounded.
Yeah, it's just a little bit more, I guess, to some degree, not to a tiny degree, more intense. Because, like, when Uncle Ben dies, like, oh man, that's such a sad scene. Like, it's really sad. It's trying to make a more, grounded is just the perfect word. I can't come up with a different word, but, like, And I like the first Amazing Spider-Man because of that. It feels like a very grounded take on Spider-Man. A very, very, like, personal.
Great movie.
Yeah. I have yet to see Amazing Spider-Man 2 all the way through. I stopped after Electro tried to kill a bunch of people. I have yet to see that movie. But I did see the Green Goblin fight and the ending. Mm-hmm. I hate the way the Green Goblin looks in that movie, but whatever.
Yeah, everybody does. It's fine.
And then Spider-Verse, like, probably the greatest Spider-Man movie ever made.
Yep.
Because, but that, come on, that's come on.
Yeah.
How are you not going to love that movie? It's a love letter to Spider-Man.
It's so good.
It's so goddamn good. And then Homecoming, though, is super different because it's putting Spider-Man against the backdrop of the MCU. And the MCU has had some crazy stuff happen in that universe. I mean, you got freaking, like, world-ending portals opening up in New York. You have Ultron trying to drop an entire, I think it's a city or country. Or no, it's a city. He's trying to drop an entire city on the planet and destroy everybody. So, like, Spider-Man, in comparison, looks kind of like,
small potatoes.
Exactly. And so, like, once I kind of, like, saw that, because against the backdrop of Iron Man and all this stuff, and, like, him being a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, I was like, oh, that's great. Like, that makes so much sense. Like, because it's true. Like, you know what I mean? And so, and that's unique for a movie because we've never seen Spider-Man interact with, like, Wolverine or Captain America, or Iron Man in Amazing Spider-Man or Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. So it was super cool, and I really enjoyed that unique take on it. But that was my mindset was like, all right, show me what you guys can do after Infinity War. After Endgame, because Endgame was like, you tied the knot. It's over. Like, you just, it's been 11 years now. What are you guys going to do here on out to make things more exciting? That was what I was going in for. Now, when I look at the movie, I'm more like, okay, how are you going to beat Homecoming? Because Homecoming is just like, dang, that's a good Spider-Man movie.
Yeah. So, see, at the time, and that's why I want to ask you, I was super excited for it. I felt like, I was like, is Blake going into this to, like, not like it? Because at first, like, before, you seemed like, I'm not really excited for it. Mm-hmm. So, like, when you were in the theater, what, I guess, was your mindset on it?
When I finally sat down, I was like, all right, you know what? As of right now, I'm going to throw all my baggage away from Homecoming. Because I had baggage from Homecoming, which was disappointing. I don't know why I did. Again, I don't know why. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to throw all that away. And I'm going to focus on just watching a good Spider-Man movie. All I want now is just a good Spider-Man movie. I want to watch a movie that feels like Spider-Man.
Okay, so you were going into it with, like,
some just
hopeful expectations.
I was anticipating for it. I was anticipating a good Spider-Man movie. That's all I wanted. Okay. That's literally all I wanted.
I just personally was not sure sitting next to you. Like, is Blake going into this not wanting to like it?
Yeah, I wasn't going into it with like, oh man, I hope this bombs and everybody hates Marvel after this. No. I would never want that. I want good Marvel movies, especially Spider-Man. I want good Spider-Man. Mm. No, I only have those expectations when I go into a DC movie, where it's like, please, just make me feel something. Don't make me feel anything but disappointment. I mean, make me feel something other than disappointment. But no, for this, I was like, no, just come on, take me on a fun ride,
All right. So that was our mindsets going into the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I at least when I came out, ooh,
Oh my gosh.
all right, Blake, what did you think of Spider-Man Far From Home?
Man, I don't even know how to put it into words.
Far from good,
Yeah,
am
no.
I right?
Other than that, I mean, shoot, where do I even start? I feel.
I would start with. Sorry,
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go. You
I would
start. You
start with.
start.
I'll just say this brief thing. This is not a Spider-Man movie.
It really isn't. It really isn't. I think that's what hurts me the most. Is the fact that it's not a Spider-Man movie. It sucks. It's really sad. Like it is. Oh man, I hate it.
Wait, the situation sucks or the movie
The
sucks?
situation sucks. Like
Okay.
it's like okay. So I don't know who like I don't know who wanted this. I mean, everybody wanted a sequel to Homecoming.
Yeah,
For sure.
of course.
I don't know if anybody wanted this though. Like this is
Sadly, as we've seen, Blake, everybody wanted
okay.
this.
And can I just
'Cause
say
everybody loves this movie.
Can I just say I genuinely feel like I missed something crazy. Like am I stupid or something? Because like
No, Blake, see, I was there with you.
Yeah.
I loved Homecoming. I called you crazy. When I left Far From Home, I thought, oh, God,
Yeah.
this is not... Oh,
Okay,
man.
okay.
No, I don't think you're crazy. I think it's... I don't know. It's the same thing with when Shazam came out.
Yes, oh my
We
gosh,
both
it
agree.
is. It's
I actively don't like... I don't think it's very good
I hate
at
that
all.
movie. Yeah.
And everybody says it is one of the best superhero movies we've gotten in years.
Yeah. Even even
Are you crazy?
yeah.
What is with everybody in this movie?
I know. Have like the standards dropped so low that we just don't care about superhero movies anymore, or like am I like again? But anyways, let me try to organize my thoughts.
It's the same situation with this movie.
Yeah. So let me try to organize my thoughts best as I can. So like things that I liked, I guess. I did like the action in the movie. I felt like there were a lot of very cool sets and like set pieces in our locations where Spider-Man could be Spider-Man. Putting him in Europe was pretty cool. I have to say that was pretty cool. I liked putting him on the canals of Venice. That was a cool sequence where like the elemental, who I thought was Hydro Man, I don't know why it's not, but it's not.
They kind of reference him though.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I mean though. That's what don't remind me. That was so confusing. I was like,
That was confusing.
because like okay, they're like, oh, they're
so
elementals,
fast.
and then the guy was like, it was this guy who has hydro powers, and I'm like, so
Yeah.
who the heck is it? What is this thing? Like, so whatever. But anyways, they never explained that, by the way. Like, but whatever.
Easter.
Yeah. So, I know. Oh, Easter egg. No, but what is it? So like I think that they gave Spider-Man a lot of cool set pieces to work with. Like there's some fun action beats and moments, and I liked it. I liked those parts of it at least. I did like what they attempted to do with Nick Fury and Spider-Man. I like the idea of Nick Fury coming in and being like, "Yo, kid, you got to step up." You know what I mean? You got to be Spider-Man. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I like that idea. They didn't really do anything with it. And I think the post-credit scene, the post-credit scene kind of completely ruins anything that ever had that gravitation, because, you know, I've been thinking about that twist. Just a side note. The Skrull twist is like the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like that actively made me angry, because I'm like, okay, so that was all meaningless. Everything that Nick Fury ever said was complete bullcrap.
Shut up, Blake.
I was so... the more I think about it, the more I'm like, oh my god, why did they do... Anyways, but I like that idea. John Favreau's great. He's good as Happy.
Yeah, that's true.
Tom Holland... the acting is good. The actors are all great. Jake Gyllenhaal did a great job. Tom Holland did a great job. That's it. I think that's all my positive thoughts. Everything else is... Oh, no. Hold on. I'm sorry. How could I forget the most positive thing I can say? Yo, can we clamp our hands together and just say, thank God, J.K. Simmons, he's back, baby.
Oh,
He's back on the throne,
yes.
baby. He's back where he belongs.
Best part of the movie, probably.
Actually, that's 100% true. I think that's my
Yeah.
that's my favorite part in the entire
that was
movie.
so
Yeah.
good. They brought my boy
Yeah,
back.
almost
They
made
brought
me
him back.
actually like the movie for a second.
Yeah,
Then
no.
it didn't.
No.
But what about you? What other? Do you have any other positives that you could?
Positives. So I think they did Mysterio great. Like,
Yeah, actually, you know what? Yeah, I agree with that. I 100% agree.
after we talked about the movie, we're mainly talking about Spider-Man and how that didn't work, but Mysterio was really good actually. Pretty accurate to the comics, you know. Jake Gyllenhaal did a great performance, I think. I just think the writing itself was okay, a disservice to him.
Yes.
So Mysterio, I love what they did with the illusions, that little set piece they did.
Yes, that's a cool sequence
that
too.
was so cool, so creative.
Yes.
There was the final action scene. I guess that whole thing was really cool, but with the spider sense and the drones, that was awesome.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it. That was awesome.
I agree.
It's not really a con, but the suit, I don't know. They went with the red and black this time, which I don't know why.
I don't know why either.
Because it seems like that's his final suit now.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to stick with that suit. And, like, it's cool for one movie, but if he's going to stick with that, why? Because it's always been red and blue. I don't know. I think that's about it.
Yeah, everything else I feel is either just plain whatever or just bad. And just
yeah, a lot of it is bad, I think.
Yeah, well, because, okay, so I guess the biggest thing for me that the more I think about it, the more I think is completely stupid is Peter Parker and MJ's relationship. I think, for me, that's the thing that shot the movie in the chest. Because
a lot of people like it too.
I know, which is weird. Which confuses me. Like, these characters who have had zero chemistry since Homecoming, because I watched Homecoming very recently. They say, I counted, they have, I think, at least 2 interactions. There's moments where Michelle is what she was called in the movie, where she makes fun of Peter and that's not his name, Ned. Jacob's the actor's name. Where she makes fun of Ned and Peter. But you know who's always replying to her snarky comments? It's always Ned. It's never Peter. Peter doesn't say anything to her except at the end. When he's like, "Where are you going?" And he's like, "Oh, I gotta." He's like, "I don't care." It's this weird interaction. And it's like, that's supposed to be the grounds of, like, their relationship in this movie? Like, I don't buy it. I don't buy it for a second.
I 100% agree with you. And everybody says they have such good chemistry.
Where?
I mean, maybe the actors, maybe, but I didn't buy it at all.
Yeah, no, Tom Holland and Zendaya are fine. They're great. But the characters they're portraying have nothing. Like, why is Peter interested in this?
She's cute.
That's it, though. But they make it out to be like, oh, but she's so smart and she's so pretty. That's like the most basic stuff you can say about a female protagonist in any romantic comedy, any romantic movie, whatever it might be. It's like, what the hell? Like, there's nothing there. For me, there is nothing there, and that's so disappointing. It's like I just don't see it. Why would Peter be interested in this cynical, manic, depressive character? Like, what? Why does he like her? You know, like, he's not. Peter's, like, jokey and wisecracky, and he's upbeat. And I get the whole opposites attract thing. Like, that's cute, but, like, that's not the case here. Like, one is not, like, overtly joyous and confident and whatever. One's just kind of a normal kid, and the other one's just, like, oh, yeah, did you know that they used to freaking guillotine people at this bridge or something like that? Like, what the heck? Who wrote this? Like, is she unique as a character? Yeah, but who cares? Like, so is, like, if you're not unique in the Marvel Universe, then, like, yikes. Because, like, almost every character has, like, some personality in the Marvel Universe. Almost. Except one. But, like, I think that's what kills it for me, is like they just have nothing going for them. Outside of that, I wasn't a fan of how they tried to make him diet Tony Stark.
They really did.
Which they did.
Really did.
Which I remember if there was one expectation I even said this to you when we were hanging out with Daniel on that one day. I even said, like, they look like they're trying to make him Tony Stark. I really don't want them to do that.
And I had the opposite thought, where I was like, I think they're putting that up in the trailer, but it seems very obvious that they're going to go at the end of the movie, you know what? I can't be Iron Man, which they kind of say in the movie.
Yeah.
I can't be Iron Man. I can only be Spider-Man, and that's who I am.
Yeah. So they have.
I think they honestly tried to show that in the movie. Mm-hmm. Like, that was what they wanted to say, but that's not what I took away from it at all.
Yeah, no, for real.
I took away, oh no, he's Iron Man Jr.
No, well, he's Iron Spider-Man or whatever. Like that. I just don't. Okay, nobody is interested in Spider-Man for the sake of his suits and unique ability, like, you know, his like his sciencey stuff. That's why people like Iron Man. Yeah. Iron Man has like 1,000 suits for 1,000 different scenarios, and that's what makes him interesting. Spider-Man has always been unique because he's so freaking simple. You know what I mean? Like, he sticks out in the Marvel Universe because he just climbs walls. He's super strong. He's got some unique powers, and he's a kid. You know? Like, he's not the Guardians of the Galaxy who fight celestial beings every day. He's like an average Joe who stops bank robberies now and then and has some pretty cool villains, you know? But not a lot of his villains can do, like, world domination-wide things, you know? Like, that's what makes him exciting. That's what makes him interesting. And it's like, this movie takes all of that and says, no, that's not why you like Spider-Man. You like Spider-Man because he's like Iron Man, right? Like, the part where he's building his suit. The part where he's building his suit, I'm like, this is not a Spider-Man sequence. This is an Iron Man sequence. It was
supposed to be, oh, he's coming into his own. Look at Happy, look at Spider-Man. And it's like, oh, wait, no, he's Iron Man in this scene.
Yeah, exactly. It backfired. It was like, this is not a Spider-Man movie anymore. This has nothing to do with the character. Like, him building the suit, cool. Look, Spider-Man suits are pretty cool, but, like, in the okay.
I thought it was cool, but it wasn't Spider-Man.
Yeah, like, but that's the thing, is like, first off, can I just say, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I like one costume that they've presented to me. And it's the one he gets in Homecoming. That's the only costume I really like, because it's Spider-Man. Straight up simple. Yeah. While the one he originally wears, the dorky one, like the one that's made of pajamas or whatever.
I like that.
That's cute. That's funny, and I like that. It's not bad. But like the other suits, I have hated all of them. Like, I didn't like. This is just a personal thing.
Really?
Well, I don't like the Iron Spider suit because it just looks gross. Like, I don't like the weird. Let me get a picture of it. Let me get a picture of it and let me describe it to you. Because I know you've seen it, but like, hold on.
Yeah.
Let me give it a second. Because like, there's just something about it that just looks gross. Like, and okay. First off, you know what it is? No. You know what it is though? It's the red and blue meshing with the gold.
I was about to say the gold.
I don't like okay. So gold is an okay color. It looks good on some things, but I just don't really like gold that much. But on this, I don't like the gold, like, outlinings of the spider.
Because it all kind of blends, right?
Yes, it just doesn't look
Because it's very non-saturated blue.
Yeah, and he's got, like, gold, like, shoulder pad things, and gold around his wrists, and gold around his elbows, and golden arms, golden little boot things. Just no more gold. Stop the gold. Like, that's just gross. Like, the one in the comics is perfect. I'm looking at it right now. Like, the red and gold, perfect. Don't throw any blue. Looks great. But the one in...
My thoughts on that suit, just real quick. I've never been a biggest fan of the comic Iron Spider one. I've grown to it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's not my favorite, though.
I 100%... it's not... I'm with you. It's not my preferred suit for Spider-Man.
I think it's a little much still with all the gold, to be honest. With the movie version, I actually loved it in Infinity War Endgame, and they put it in Spider-Man PS4. I think it looks great in that, too. I actually really love that suit, but then in this one, when they briefly showed it, I thought maybe it's because it was the most close up we've ever seen it. I don't know, but it started to make me second guess if I liked it.
Yeah,
I was like, wait, these colors really blend together in a way that don't.
Yeah, that's.
Ooh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I still like it, but this movie made me go,
Yeah, well,
Actually.
a lot of people seem to like it, so that's just me being a minority. But the second suit they give him is the black one. Which, number one, they justify it by like, oh, nobody can know it's Spider-Man. Come on, really? Like that, okay, that's the dumbest. Everybody knows it's Spider-Man. If he's like, come on.
A character actually thinks it's Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Everybody's like, oh, look, it's Spider-Man. No, that's what did they call him? The Night Monkey?
Oh, yeah.
I was like, okay, that's funny, but like, wow, come on. Though, like, who cares? Who cares? Number one, I don't like that costume either. It has this dumb-looking buckle right in the middle of his eyes. Which look is I just don't like it.
The material doesn't look very good.
No, it looks like it's a freaking generic shield agent suit, and I hate it.
Looks like it's made out of seatbelts.
Yes,
like that material. Yeah. I don't know what that's called.
Throw some chains and zippers on it, and you got Tetsuya Nomura's Spider-Man. Seriously, like.
Oh yeah.
I just don't like that. Like, what's the point of it? It doesn't do anything for him. You know what I mean?
No.
First of all, it's pointless. Number two, it's just like. It's supposed to. I guess it's supposedly supposed to like maybe reference the Venom suit. No, get that weak sauce out of here.
It's supposed to be the noir suit, isn't it?
No, I don't think so. The noir suit has like a.
I think it's I think it's supposed to.
Well, if it is, they messed it up. Spider Noir's costume is amazing.
It's so
like
good,
Spider Noir's costume is like black with this coat.
One of the best suits.
Oh god!
PS4.
Look at the belt.
So
look at the freaking like. It's not even a armor he's wearing. He's wearing like kind of like one of those pilot jackets. Leather. Yes.
Great. Yeah.
Dude, Spider Noir's costume is bad A. This costume sucks. It's just boring. It's just just put him in a lot of black.
No.
And then make the fingers holes or whatever. And then the last suit they give him, the red and black. The red and black. Okay. Let me pull it up. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me
It's striking. But I feel like it adds to the new image you're trying to make for Spider-Man. Yeah. At least that's how I feel. And like,
it looks
like, isn't Spider-Man cooler with black?
Yeah. So it's a reference to, oh gosh, what comic is it? Because this was featured in a comic with the red and black. It's kind of a classic old look to it. I forget which one. I think it's a comic by Alex Ross or something. I'm not sure. I can't give you the 100% the date. I don't mind it. But the red and blue, come on. Like, you just can't beat the red and blue.
Yeah, that's my thing.
Yeah, like, the black looks nice. It makes them look, I don't know. I feel like when you add black to...
anything.
Yeah, well, number one of the biggest attractions I can say from Marvel movies is they take away color from everything. Like, a lot of villains are just big, gray, bad guys. And I hate that. Because, like, in the comics, they're freaking blue, they're purple, they're yellow, they're all these crazy colors, and then they're just like, but we need to make them look bad. Put them in black. Just put them in black. Like, Ronan's supposed to be wearing green. Ronan wears black. Just black. And I'm like, that's a completely different issue. But I feel like they're kind of doing the same thing here, where they're taking away Spider-Man personality just to make it look a little more, like, sleek and cool. And it's like, come on, just stick with blue.
I think that too.
Yeah. But that's just an aesthetical thing. Other than that, I guess, okay, number one, these are all personal quirks. I don't like Aunt May knowing. Actually, let me take that back. I don't like anybody knowing. Why does everybody have to know who Spider-Man is? Like, do we have to take away the one thing that he had unique amongst everything else in the MCU? Like, he was the only one, and I went back. I made sure of this. He is the only character with a secret identity in the entire MCU. He's the only one. Nobody else has one.
Yeah.
Why? Why do you have to take it away from him, though? Like, that's what makes him interesting. He wants to keep his life in order. And that they won't let him. Everybody knows. Like, Nick Fury knowing, okay, that's fine. Iron Man knowing, okay, that's fine. But Aunt May, MJ, I mean, I guess Ned is there for, like, comedic, just to be funny. But, like, why does everybody have to know? And especially when they do the stupid Mysterio thing at the post-credit scene, which, by the way, I hate that too. I'm sorry, I'm taking up all this conversation. Do you have anything to add?
Good. I mean, it has potential.
I don't mind it when it's used as a kind of a situation, but like I just don't like
Oh, okay.
everybody
But
knowing
it's gonna be that going forward.
that's what I mean. I just don't want
Okay.
them to be all like, well, I guess everybody knows. I guess you get to go up on the podium and say, well, I am Spider-Man. Sorry, guys. Like, I just don't like everybody knowing. You know what I mean? Like, but prior to it being an event. Like the idea of everybody knows who Spider-Man is, that's okay. I don't have an issue with that, I suppose. It can work. What bothers me is people knowing before something like that happens. Like, Mysterio knew, and he turned out to be a bad guy, and that turned out to be huge. And Nick Fury tells him, take your mask off. I don't want, you don't need to wear your mask. Everybody knows who you are. And it's like, that's what bothers me. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't want a lot of people knowing, because, like, it just, okay, hold on. We need to talk about one particular scene.
Okay.
Because I feel like we haven't mentioned it.
Oh.
My friend, we need to talk about the scene on the bus with the drone.
Oh, you mean the scene they should have taken out?
Yes, exactly, my friend.
That it was so wacky and fun.
And it established that he has a freaking space drone with all these little.
He has
What
a
the
satellite. He
heck?
owns a satellite.
Oh my god!
See, I thought that scene. I thought they were going to do. Oh, he like summons a drone. Then he's like, drone. Oh shoot, no, like turn it off. And he maybe goes back on and off about sending the drone.
Yeah.
But no, it goes all the way to the bus, and he has to go. Hey, look, sheep! Jump out of the bus, shoot it with webs.
Shoot it against a rock.
I was like, oh. And when it ended, I think we looked at each other and we're like, what was that?
No, because okay.
What was that? What did I just watch?
All right.
That had nothing to do with anything.
And no, 100% agreed. So let me talk story-wise. That is a terrible idea, giving
Spider-Man a drone?
Yes.
Satellite?
Why did Iron Man, Tony Stark, why did he give him that? Like, okay, that's an Avengers thing. Like, I get that there might not be an Avengers anymore, even though that doesn't make any sense, because, like, half of them still exist. A lot of them. Like, that's something you give to, like, anybody else. Like, literally. And, like, why? That's a Hulk thing. Like, give that to Bruce Banner. Why give it to Peter Parker?
Because he trusted Peter.
That's great. Everybody, that's not but like with a freaking space weapon? Like, oh my god! Like, that's horrible. And it's controlled with glasses. Like,
yeah.
What the heck? Like,
Well, first I have to say, what happened to Karen?
oh my god, I was just gonna say that. I was all like,
I thought they were gonna bring back Karen. I liked
I
Karen.
liked Karen. That was great. Like, that
was funny.
Yeah.
Where's Karen?
She had a little space, like a suit crush on him for some reason, too.
I guess related to the drone, I hated the scene where it was him, Peter, giving the glasses to Mysterio.
Yeah.
Because first it was so, like, generic and obvious.
Yeah.
That I was like, oh, he's gonna give it. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But the scene felt so long and so, like, also, wow, Peter, you're stupid, aren't you?
Yeah, no.
Because he kept going, no, the next Iron Man, no, you're the next Iron, not me. And like, oh my god, I hate this scene so much.
It's really silly.
I did not like the writing very much of this movie. I thought it was actually pretty bad.
Yeah.
Like you said, the actors were really good. But I think the writing was really... It was like the jokes didn't land or the scene was going too long.
And my god.
I think... What?
I get... Okay, so Homecoming was like modeled or like inspired by a lot of classic teen movies, you know, like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, 16 Candles, things like that. A lot of John Hughes.
Yeah.
So why did they look at that and were like, you know what? Here's the big problem. Not everybody is a dumbass. You know, not everybody says dumb, stupid stuff. I think everybody needs to say dumb, stupid stuff like all the time. Like everybody.
Oh my god.
The teacher went from, in Homecoming, he was just kind of generic teacher. Like, he made a dumb, like, the only joke he had was that, like, when they're interviewing them after he saves them from the Washington Monument, he's all like, I can't lose another student.
Yeah, that was
again.
funny.
Like that's a
yeah. Every other thing he said in this movie was a joke that
my
mostly
Lord.
didn't land.
It was all about how pathetic he was, how pathetic his life is.
Blake, I totally forgot. There was another teacher in this movie.
Yes.
I hated him. Nothing he said was funny.
No.
I don't know why he was in here. This movie.
As a man of science, witches. What? That's not funny. That's just stupid. Don't say that.
It was okay the first time, then he kept saying it over and over.
Yes, and saying dumb stuff too.
Every character said so much dumb stuff in this movie.
Yeah.
In concept, I think a lot of the jokes were like conceptually funny.
Yeah.
Like calling Spider-Man, oh, he's the Night Monkey.
Yeah.
But then when they go, oh, Night Monkey,
yeah,
save us, I was like, oh, wow, that really did not land.
Yeah, no, and even beyond that though, like I'm totally with you. I'm totally with you. But like even beyond that, some things that characters do is really stupid. Like I didn't like why do Ned and Betty date at all in this movie?
Shut up.
Well, because they have no. Excuse you, I won't. Like one of the biggest issues is that like. They're like the subplot almost of this whole thing. Their relationship begins off of nothing and it ends over nothing.
That was the joke.
But
isn't that funny?
Okay, but Ned actually is a character in freaking Homecoming. Like Ned is great in Homecoming. He's like the kind of, or like he's the conscience almost. Like he's kind of, like there's a part where he's hacking the suit to like make it so Tony Stark can't see what he's doing or where he is, and he's like, Peter, I don't know if you should do this. You're like lying to Iron Man. He's like, no, I'm not lying to Iron Man. I'm trying to, and it's great. Because like it's Ned's actually concerned for his friend. He wants to be, like he says during one scene, the guy in the chair. And he gets to be the guy in the chair at the very end. And it's great. That's awesome. What is he in this movie?
Don't you want to see Ned fall in love?
And then drop right out of it at the very end?
Blake hated that moment so much in the movie. He was angry.
Because I saw it coming. I was like, as soon as they got together, I was like, I remember thinking in my head, they're not going to last. They're going to break up over over nothing or something stupid, and it's just going to be a waste of everybody's time. And as soon as they mention, as soon as Peter Parker says, like, oh, we should think about going to double date. I'm like, oh no, here it comes. We broke up. Oh my god, guys, come on. You can't make me look smart. Like, don't do that. Like, because come on, what's the point? And like Ned, oh my god, he does nothing. Ned does nothing. No. Ned went from being a guy who's like, he saved Spider-Man. He grabbed this in the Homecoming. He gets the web shooter and he saves him from Shocker. That's great. Guess what he does in this movie? Nothing. He just tells Peter, like, oh, Peter, I don't want to die, man. I don't want to freaking die. Like, dude, you got to make sure that they're away from the city. I don't want to freaking die. What the heck? What happened to him?
See, there's also so much fluff in this movie.
Oh, God.
We talked about it. Like, the funny scenes they try to add. It takes up so much of the movie where, like, all the plot, like, the actual plot that matters, it's like, it feels like 40 minutes of the movie, of a 2-hour movie.
Yeah. No, for real.
I was like, why is all this stuff in here? I feel like they kept it in because they would have way less movie if they took it out.
Mm-hmm. No, you're 100% right.
So much of the scenes that mattered were, like I said, feel like 40 minutes worth. The rest was fluff that didn't matter.
Yeah, no, it was. And I think I also want to talk very briefly thematically. Because a lot of people have been saying, like, oh, I've been watching a lot of reviews of this movie to make sure I'm not crazy. Mm-hmm. I still feel like I am, but maybe I'm not. And a lot of people are like, well, I love this movie because it puts Peter Parker in this unique situation. It's a Peter Parker movie, number one, all right? No, it's really not, number one. Number two, it's like, oh, but it forces him to choose. You know, it forces him to choose to be Spider-Man. And I'm like, there's one scene. There is only one scene where they nail it right. And it's the part at the opera where Spider-Man's like, or Peter Parker's like, I'm sorry, I have to go. And she's like, I'll save you a seat next to me or something. And he's all like, things like that. That conversation, that's the only cool part. Everything else is Nick Fury hijacking his freaking entire trip and forcing him to be Spider-Man. He does not have a choice. There's a lady who forces him to undress in front of her for no reason. By the way, why? That's weird. Like,
that was weird.
I get it. Comedy hijinks. Haha, so funny. Like, but like, come on, what? Like, no, just, S.H.I.E.L.D. looks like an idiot in this movie, too. You know what I mean? Like, they just look dumb. Again, that's not about Spider-Man making a choice to become somebody or become himself or step into his own. Like you said when we were talking about that, it's he doesn't have a choice, you know. And how they did it, like Spider-Verse, where Miles is constantly forced with these like choices, where it's like, I don't feel like I have a choice, but he doesn't, and it's all about him making the choices after that, with the hand he's been dealt, and that's why that movie's so freaking good.
It's about him learning that sometimes the thing you have to do is the right thing to do.
Yes.
And he isn't sure of that.
Yes.
But that's what he has to learn, you know?
Yes, and
that's what makes him Spider-Man, is learning that even though he's in a situation where he's stressed, he's got these new powers, everybody expects so much of him, sometimes it just comes down to doing the right thing.
Yes, and it's perfect. This movie adds nothing. You just gotta have a rich buddy. You just gotta have a rich friend.
I think you said it the best after we saw this movie. You said in Homecoming, it's about him wanting to be an Avenger and then realizing, no, I'm a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. That's what I want to do. In this, he's like, no, I'm Spider-Man, but everybody else saying, no, you got to be Iron Man.
And he just
you're not just a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. You went to space.
Yeah. And like that's it though. Like that's their only thing is like, well, you guess you can't be Spider-Man. You can't be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
It's anymore. Like I thought because Homecoming does such a great job establishing that character, where Iron Man literally he gives him what he wants. Yeah. He says, "You could be an Avenger. Look at this awesome suit I made you." Yeah. And he goes, "You know what? I'm okay. I want to help the people at the ground level. The friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. I understand what you're trying to teach me."
Yeah.
And that's such a great moment. In this, it's the reverse, if anything.
Yeah. And that's
oh no, I'm Iron Man.
Which, look,
I guess.
I get it. He doesn't want to, like, he feels like he can't live It's honestly kind of the same story as Into the Spider-Verse to some degree, because both characters struggle with the idea of expectation. Both characters have kind of been dealt a hand that they don't really want. But the difference between Miles Morales in Spider-Verse and Peter Parker in Far From Home is that Miles Morales takes active steps towards wanting to be that Spider-Man. You know what I mean?
Like he becomes his own Spider-Man in his own right at the very end.
And he learns that by nagging Peter B. Parker, to help him train. And Peter B. Parker's like, "No, I don't," like, you know what I mean? And it's like he learns how to embrace his own identity. And he becomes his own version of Spider-Man. And that's what makes him so freaking cool. Yep. It's great. Far From Home, he just has a rich best friend who just gives him a freaking satellite. On top of that, agents. And, like, he just doesn't... There's nothing there. Like, he doesn't step into becoming a better Spider-Man. He steps into becoming... I'm Spider-Man, but I got some Iron Man stuff. So it's like, I'm just way cooler.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why I think they try to... write a plot where it's him coming more into his own as Spider-Man, but if anything, he lost more of his identity in this movie, which is the thing I dislike the most, because in Homecoming, everybody's saying, oh, MCU Spider-Man is not like true to the comics or whatever, and you can have your different interpretations for the characters.
Yes.
And a lot of the points people have said is, he's like Iron Man Jr. and all that. And some of that I can agree. I would say, yeah, there is some of that in Homecoming. Yeah. But at the end, I think it is still a Spider-Man story about him becoming his own hero, his own identity. The problem in this movie is they lose that identity so much. They lose sight of it. And I think it's weird because everybody was like, oh, they were listing all this stuff about MCU Spider-Man that they don't like, but I feel like this movie took those things and just dialed it to 11.
Yeah,
and that's what I don't like.
Yeah, no, and I mean to go off of what you said about Homecoming, where it's like people talking about how he was Spider-Man Jr. in Homecoming to some extent. I challenge that by saying there's a beautiful scene where Tony comes in and is all like, "I'm taking your suit away. You're done." And he's all like, "No, I'm nothing without this suit," which is kind of what Iron Man's trying to teach him. which he illustrates by saying, if you're nothing without this suit, you don't deserve it, which is great. And like it proves that he has to be Spider-Man without all the Spider-Man equipment, and it's brilliant, and like that's why it's so good. But this is like, it was kind of like what I think I said this in the car when we were coming back home, where it's like they did the exact opposite of Homecoming and thought it was going to work. Mm-hmm. It's like, and it's like, I just don't see why. Like, they made everybody pointless and everybody shallow and so much less impactful. And it's like, they were like, oh, well, that's going to work because it'll just work.
Yeah. And all the things people said about MCU Spider-Man that they didn't like, I could see where they're coming from, but I'm like, but I think it's, these things they do really well.
Yes. Like
you said, they still make him Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
In this, all the things that people have said, like, I can see it. It's very apparent in this movie. And for some reason, everybody loves it. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. But I think there's kind of a weird, as I've noticed with a lot of Marvel movies, where it's like, I feel like there's kind of a moment or a brief moment where people are like, oh, it's great, it's fantastic, it's wonderful, it's amazing, it's the best movie ever. And then like maybe a year at most, or a little over a year, or a little less than a year, people are like, you know what? It's bad. Like, it's actually really bad, or something.
Yeah, but see, what's weird here is people were going into Far From Home recognizing what, like I said, at this point, people don't like Homecoming for the most part, which is weird. But they were going into Far From Home going, okay, well, we know what we don't like from Homecoming. Let's see what they fix. Mm-hmm. And they're going, oh, they fixed everything. This is an amazing Spider-Man movie.
And I think that's what is maybe...
It's like, well, if anything, they made it worse.
Yeah. And I think that's what's funny, though. I think that, like, I've kind of been digging around on like Instagram and social media profiles into like a lot of like hardcore MCU fans, not Marvel fans necessarily, but MCU fans. And I've kind of noticed that, like, this isn't to just like make a sweeping generalization. I'm just saying that like a lot of them like really, really, really value those movies and those characters, and like they have like so much so that like it's almost to a point where it's like, I don't know if they even really want Spider-Man. You know what I mean? I think to some degree, a lot of MCU fans didn't really want Spider-Man, like how you and me know Spider-Man. But I think they did kind of, to some degree, want a, like, Diet Tony Stark, Diet Iron Man Spider-Man. Which
is weird, because I feel like people were complaining about that in Homecoming. Yeah. So it feels weird to me that they're celebrating now that they're doing that.
Yeah, and I'm with you. It's super weird. I don't like it. I don't want a diet anybody. I want new and unique and interesting characters to carry me through this theoretical phase 4, which I still have no clue what the heck they could possibly do to, like, I mean, this is out of the pocket from Far From Home. This doesn't really have too much to do with it, but kind of. Because they've said, like, I think people have said a few times that, like, phase 4 is going to be, or is it phase 4? I'm sorry. Is it phase 4? Do we know? Yeah. Okay, so, like, they said, like, phase 4 is going to be built on the backs of basically 3 characters. Spider-Man Far From Home, who to me is having or Spider-Man, who Far From Home has given a very rough start to this phase 4. Black Panther, who I still think is a genuinely cool character, and I wouldn't mind seeing Black Panther 2. And Captain Marvel, whom... John, I hate this character. My least favorite in the entire MCU. And it's like, Far From Home now is like, if this is the direction they're taking with Spider-Man, I don't think I really want to see where they're going with it, because I don't like this. I really don't like that they're just trying to make him
Iron Man.
Yeah, it's like, just get somebody else. Like, you guys own all of Marvel. Like, there has to be somebody that you could, like, Iron Man was a nobody prior to 2008. Like, nobody really knew who he was, except diehard comic fans. But I didn't know who he was, and, like, I thought I was well-versed in comics. You know, go back in time and slap my 2008 self, and boom, there I go. I'm aware of Iron Man and Captain America, and oh shoot, the entirety of the Avengers. Let's go. But it's like, this, like, these three, like, Spider-Man is gonna be, if Spider-Man's gonna be Iron Man, and I'm not in, I'm out. Like, you guys kind of, I don't want that. Like, I really
I
don't want that.
think what makes it worse is that we've seen with Spider-Verse and Spider-Man PS4, which I think everybody agrees are two of the best like things in mainstream media that we've gotten for Spider-Man in terms of writing.
Yeah.
Because Spider-Verse gets the character of not just Miles but Peter Parker so well with this older Spider-Man who really works when he really shouldn't have. And then Spider-Man PS4, which I think personally is probably the best Spider-Man we've gotten. Like, he's literally right from the comics. Like, when I would watch those cutscenes, I thought, oh shoot, like, this isn't just like an interpretation. This is Spider-Man from the comics, and it's awesome. I love it. And I think when you have these two things that know what the character is at its heart, and you compare it to Far From Home, it's not